It's 2 a.m. Your hand is completely numb. You shake it, squeeze it, open and close your fingers like you're trying to grab something that isn't there. Nothing. It's like your hand just quit, walked off the job, no warning. Then slowly, painfully, the feeling crawls back, and you lie there staring at the ceiling thinking, was that normal? Or was that actually my body trying to tell me something? Most people assume the answer is obvious. You slept on your arm. You squished it. End of story. Go back to sleep. But here's the thing. What's really happening inside your hand has almost nothing to do with blood flow and the specific fingers that lose feeling. Which ones, how often, how long it takes to come back, is actually a message. What happens in your hand at night is one of the clearest signals your body knows how to send. And most people have been ignoring it for years. And if you keep brushing it off, which most people do, you could be missing the one signal your body sends you every single night. Let's start with what's actually going on, because it's not what you think. 1. Your hand isn't falling asleep, and your fingers are telling you exactly where the problem is. Here's something you probably do every night without realizing it. You curl your wrists inward. You shove your hand under the pillow. You sleep with your arm bent so tight, your elbow is basically touching your shoulder. You'd never sit at a desk in that position for 8 hours. But the second you fall asleep, your body pretends it's a pretzel and just commits to it. Most people think the blood got cut off, like stepping on a garden hose. But that's not what happened. What actually went numb is a nerve. You have 3 main nerves that run from your neck all the way down into your fingers. Think of them like 3 electrical cables running through tight tunnels in your arm. When you bend your wrist or elbow for hours, you squeeze a tunnel shut. The cable gets pinched, the signal stops. That's the numbness. That's the tingling. That's your hand going offline. A research team at Washington University studied nearly 400 people and found 1 in 3 adults wakes up with numb hands at least once a week. And the biggest predictor? Sleeping with the wrist curled inward. Just that. 1 in 3, every single week. And most of them shake their hand out, roll over, and forget it by morning. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Which fingers go numb tells you exactly which cable is being pinched. If it's your thumb, index finger, and middle finger, and the rest feels fine, your body is pointing at your wrist. One of those nerve cables runs through a tiny, tight passage right where your wrist bends. Doctors call it the carpal tunnel, but all you need to know is that it's a small space, and when your wrist curls inward for hours, that space gets even smaller. The nerve inside gets crushed. You don't need a desk job to get this. You can get it just from sleeping with your wrist bent. A 2024 study looked at 681 people with this condition. 9 out of 10 said their worst symptoms happened at night, not while typing, while sleeping. And here's what honestly frustrates me. When people catch this early, the fix is embarrassingly simple. A basic wrist brace at night, $10 at the pharmacy, no surgery, no pills. But most people wait years because they keep saying, I just slept on it funny. Your body is saying, something in here is being squeezed. Move. That's not a malfunction. That's your nervous system doing its job perfectly. But there's one cause of nighttime numbness that has nothing to do with how you sleep. Nothing to do with your pillow or your mattress. And when you hear it, you'll wonder why nobody mentioned it before. 2. Different fingers. Completely different story. Now, what if the fingers that go numb aren't your thumb and index finger? What if it's your ring finger and your pinky? That's a completely different nerve. And it's pointing at a completely different spot. You've actually felt this nerve before. Remember the last time you bumped your elbow on something hard and that electric shock shot down your arm? That awful zing that makes you grab your elbow and question all of your life choices? That's this nerve. The one at your elbow. It runs through a groove right at the back of your elbow. A groove that has almost no cushioning around it. And here's the problem. When you sleep with your elbow bent, which is basically every position except lying flat like a board, that nerve gets stretched and pressed against bone for hours. Fetal position, elbow bent, arm tucked under the pillow, elbow bent, hugging a second pillow like it's a person. Believe it or not, elbow bend, we almost can't avoid it. Researchers at the University of Washington found that the more you bend your elbow, the more pressure builds on this nerve. Past 90 degrees, the pressure nearly doubles. And most people sleep well past that angle every single night without knowing it. So if you're waking up with a numb ring finger and pinky, that's not random either. That's your body drawing you a different map, pointing at a different spot, saying, it's not the wrist this time, it's the elbow. Look here, think about that. Your fingers aren't just going numb, they're giving you coordinates. And hey, if this is changing how you think about what your hands do at night, hit subscribe. Because what comes next is the signal most people ignore for years. 3. When both hands go numb, the message changes completely. Everything so far explains one hand. But what if it's both? Same time, and maybe not just at night anymore. That's different. That's your body switching from a local report to a system-wide alert. Maybe you slept with both arms under you like some kind of human burrito. Maybe you were on your back with both wrists bent. But both hands going numb together almost never means you just slept funny. That's a pattern. One of the most common reasons is high blood sugar. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but your body doesn't care what you want to hear. Here's what happens. Your nerves need fuel from tiny blood vessels, the smallest ones in your body. When blood sugar stays high too long, those tiny vessels get damaged, and the nerves they feed start losing power. Think of Christmas lights. When a section of wire goes bad, the lights at the far end flicker first. Your hands and feet are the far end. They notice first. A study published in the journal Diabetes Care found that nearly half of all people with diabetes develop some form of nerve damage over time. And for many of them, the very first sign was numbness or tingling in the hands and feet, often at night, often ignored for years. Your body is saying something in the fuel line is off. Pay attention, the numbness isn't the disease. The numbness is the smoke detector, and the earlier you hear it, the easier it is to fix what's behind it. That's not your body failing you. That's your body fighting for you with the only tool it has. If both hands go numb and it's creeping into daytime, your body isn't asking for a new mattress. It's asking for a blood test. But there's one more cause, the one I saved from the beginning. And honestly, this is the one that changes everything. 4. The hidden cause your body has been whispering about for years. Vitamin B12. Before you think, that's something my grandma takes. Hear me out. This might be the most important minute of this whole video. Every nerve in your body is wrapped in a protective coating. Picture the plastic around an electrical wire. That coating keeps signals fast, clean, and accurate. Without it, signals get slow, get messy, get lost somewhere between your brain and your fingertips. B12 is what your body uses to build that coating. When it drops, even a little, the protection starts to wear thin. Like insulation left in the sun too long, it cracks, it peels, and the wires underneath start misfiring. The very first symptom, before tiredness, before brain fog, is tingling and numbness in the hands and feet. That's B12 waving a little flag saying, I'm running low down here. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows about 6% of adults are running low on B12. But over 60? 1 in 5. Let that sit for a second. 20%. And most of them have been blaming their pillow for years. But here's the good news. And I love this part. A simple blood test catches it. Getting your B12 back up stops the damage and can reverse early symptoms. That simple. You've been waking up at 2 a.m., shaking your hand, maybe Googling, why do my hands go numb at 3 in the morning? And the answer might be a single vitamin your body's been quietly running out of. That's not a mystery, that's a whisper. And now you've heard it. 5. The signal that comes from where you'd never look. That cause I said you wouldn't see coming? The one that has nothing to do with your wrist, your elbow, your blood, or your vitamins? It comes from your neck. And I know that sounds strange. Your hand goes numb and the answer is your neck. But follow this for a second. Every single nerve that controls your hand, every one, starts in the bones at the back of your neck. They squeeze out through tiny gaps between those bones, travel down through your shoulder, past your elbow, through your wrist, and all the way into your fingertips. It's one continuous line, like a cable that runs from the top floor of a building all the way to the basement. Now, if something at the top of that cable gets pinched, a disc that's pushing out slightly, some wear and tear that's been building for years, maybe just the way you hold your neck at your desk or when you look down at your phone for hours, the signal gets scrambled before it even makes it past your shoulder. A team at Johns Hopkins reviewed years of data on neck-related nerve problems and found that the most common age group affected was adults between 40 and 60, exactly the people most likely to blame their symptoms on sleeping wrong or getting older. Most of them had no neck pain at all, just hand numbness. And here's what makes this one so sneaky. It looks exactly like everything else. Thumb numbness that looks like a wrist problem. Pinky numbness that looks like an elbow problem. Tingling that looks like low B12. You could chase the wrong answer for months. Wrist braces, elbow pads, new pillows, supplements. And the whole time, the real source was 6 inches from your brain, quietly sending garbled messages down the longest nerve line in your arm. Think about that for a second. Your fingers were reporting accurately. They just couldn't tell you where the problem was actually coming from. Your body was trying to tell you, it just had to use a very long phone line to do it. That's not confusion. That's your body doing the best it can with the wiring it has. And that's what I want you to take with you tonight. Every single thing we talked about, the wrist, the elbow, the blood sugar, the vitamin, the neck, they all connect to one truth. Your hands going numb at night was never just an annoyance. It was never nothing. It was never just a weird thing that happens sometimes. Every nerve in your hand is part of a line that runs from your fingertips, through your wrist, past your elbow, through your neck, and into your brain. When your hand goes numb, your body isn't broken. It's not glitching. It's reporting. Clearly, precisely, through the only channel it has. Maybe it's your sleep position, and moving your arm tonight fixes it completely. Maybe it's a nerve at the wrist, and a $10 brace catches it before it ever becomes a bigger problem. Maybe it's your elbow, and uncurling your arm at night is all it takes. Maybe it's a vitamin your body's been slowly running out of while you weren't paying attention. Or maybe it's your neck, quietly sending a message through the longest path it has, all the way down to your fingertips. Your body was never broken. It was talking to you, every single night, patiently, repeatedly, in the only language it knows. And now you know how to listen. So tonight, pay attention. When you wake up with numb hands, notice which fingers, thumb and index, or ring finger and pinky, one hand or both? Does it vanish the second you move, or does it linger? That pattern is a message your body has been writing for you every single night. And now, for the first time, you can finally read it.